Can you tell us the reason for the decision to resign?
As I said in my letter, the health of my mother has deteriorated very, very rapidly. Last fall was the precipitating factor, but she's just gradually, after really dropping off in her health, it's very clear that she is just gradually going to get into increasingly poor health. So we talked a lot about it when we visited with her in the summer, and about the timing. You know, no president should stay forever, obviously, but the timing is almost never right. But at the same time, as I reflected back on the major goals that I set when I became president in 2006, I realized that we'd wrapped up an awful lot of big projects, and that a number of the things that needed to be done here at Temple to fulfill our plans would require a long-term commitment. You do a big capital campaign, the donors want to know the president. They want to know who they're working with, and it's really important that those relationships be strong and personal. We had finished the academic planning process, finished the physical plant planning process, started all of the first round of major projects, and had just received notice that the Corbett administration was going to support our big library project. And so as I was thinking about that rhythm of good timing, I really felt like I would have to commit long-term to Temple to go on to the next phase, at the same time completely uncertain about the relationship of my mother's health to my ability to do what I needed to do. And all of our families live in the West.
Okay. Did you ever consider a leave of absence instead of resigning?
Universities don't do well under those circumstances. The presidency is pretty much a 24/7 job, as Ray will know, because we often talk in the middle of the night. And a leave of absence would have assumed that she was in fact going to have her health crisis within the period of the leave of absence, which brings me back to what I said originally. The timing is never right. And it was just something that I felt we wanted to do.
Now, are there things in place that she's being taken care of until you can get home a year from now?
Yes.
Okay.
She moved into an assisted living center after she was able to leave rehab last winter, and she's 24/7 care. So it's not like she doesn't have anybody to help her cook and to take care of her that way. So she's pretty stable right now.
May I ask how old she is?
Oh, she wouldn't mind. 87.
Oh, wow.
She believes that anybody who's embarrassed about their age is being silly.
Very much like that, so I totally understand.
No, she wouldn't mind at all.
So how does this affect the 2020 plan that you implemented when you became president?
Oh, I'm assuming that it will have no effect at all. The plan is a major framework. It's designed so every project will go through an approval process with the Board of Trustees, and it's very, very flexible. So I think it'll be just fine.
Do you think it's a successful program so far?
Absolutely, yeah. And I hear over and over again how much this is contributing to our city.
It is. I think so. It is. I do agree with that. I don't know if you're going to like this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I know you're the first woman president of Temple. Yes. How has that, I guess, what has that meant to you, and does it bother you that you're leaving so soon, only after 6 years being the first woman president, and do you have any say in the next person that they choose?
Well, let me answer your last question first. It's not appropriate for a president to choose their successor, and so I won't have any role other than to answer questions that candidates may have if they'd like to speak with me. So the board is going to appoint a search committee. Chairman O'Connor is working on that, and that search committee will be responsible to the board for designing the process and recommending a candidate. Being the first woman president has been very fun. It's been exciting. That's sort of been the pattern in my career. When I became the dean of the graduate school at the University of Utah, I was the first woman to ever be the dean. When I became the provost at Claremont Graduate University, I was the first woman. I was actually a junior high school principal. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't know that.
Earlier in my career. And I was the first woman in that position, not just in the school, but I'm used to this. I would say that more than anything, I have been gratified by and pleased with the impact my presidency has had on women students and faculty and staff, as an example, I hope, for aspirations for them.
Would you like to see another female take your place? And would you ever consider coming back to maybe this position again? Or what exactly do you plan on doing when you're leaving?
I would love to see another woman take this position. One of the things we've got to get over, I think, as we have more opportunities, is a perception that, well, we've done that now. We've had a woman president. Heaven forbid we should have a woman succeed a woman. We have to get over that. So I am hopeful that that's over at Temple and that conversation won't take place. As to coming back, I think you can never go home again, literally, in that sense. Temple will need to be committed to its new leader, and that president will need everyone's support in order to be successful.
What will you miss most about Temple?
Oh, the people. And the city of Philadelphia is a wonderful place to live. And I'm fortunate to live in Center City. So my husband's new motto is, if he can't carry it, we don't need it. I mean, we do not drive. But I will miss the people. The students here are the best. They're smart, they work hard, they aren't entitled, they are just wonderful to be around. And we have a wonderful faculty and a strong collegiality, which I think is just a tremendous experience.
Well, in your tenure, I know SAT scores have gone up since you began. Temple is in one of the largest African American communities in maybe one of the top 10 largest cities. But
top
it's
five.
Is it top 5? I thought it was top 10, sorry. But it shows that only like about 10% of Philadelphia students go on to college. Do you think there's anything that Temple could do to help change that?
Absolutely, and we're working on it. We just announced at the beginning of the semester 250 new 4-year scholarships for high school graduates in the contiguous zip codes of Temple University. And we are specifically aiming to get more and more of our young people thinking that Temple is the place for them to come to school.
One other question about Philadelphia. A couple of years ago, Philadelphia was concerned because a lot of college graduates were leaving Philadelphia as soon as they graduate. Is there anything Temple or Philadelphia can do to get more college graduates to stay here, do you think?
Well, Temple is the champion at that. We have a higher proportion of our graduates who choose to stay in the greater Philadelphia area than any other institution of higher education. And 1 out of every 8 citizens of Philadelphia who hold a university degree have taken their degrees at Temple. So chances are your dentist is a Temple grad.
Oh, yes.
And yes, indeed.
It seems like I work at a restaurant, not to talk about myself, but every time I wait on somebody, they're a Temple graduate. So I'm not actually surprised to hear that.
It's wonderful. I have a daughter and son-in-law and 2 granddaughters who live in Missoula, Montana. Their dentist is a Temple grad.
Really?
So you bet, that old expression, Temple owls are everywhere. Yes, we are.
So do you have any desire to have an ongoing role with Temple while you're gone, or?
There are a lot of things that we can do that we will explore going forward, but that's not really determined yet.
Okay. Is there any message you would like to leave with Temple?
Just that it has been a tremendous honor for me to serve Temple as its president, and I will always remember my experience here with great fondness and pride.